Guys, welcome back to the channel.
Yes. We back.
It's a spicy one today. We are back. I can't believe we're honestly sitting here and filming.
But we are.
Oh, but we
are.
And guys, green nails. Fall is here. Fall is here. Happy fall, everyone.
As I call it, Christmas nails, because they're pine green. They're very
literally
Christmassy.
when I put these on,
Put
he
them,
was like,
show them a close up and comment below if y'all think those are Christmas nails.
No.
Or fall nails. Those are Christmas
fall
nails.
Forest. Forest of the fall. He was like, why are you wearing Christmas nails?
You just got to dip your hands in some little powdered sugar, and then you really got the little frosted Christmas tree action going on there.
And what do guys know about nails? They don't!
Yeah.
Guys, it's the end of summer into fall, and we are talking about the summer we broke up.
Yes.
Like, why are we even talking about this?
People have been asking about it. They've been asking about the breakup. Please tell the breakup story. Tell the breakup story. How do you feel? How do you get back together?
Well, we do have a video of the breakup story.
Yes.
And you can watch there.
To get all caught up.
To get all caught up. But we were like reflecting. When you have something in your heart, a promise from God, like we just expect it to go so smooth. And we expect, especially if you're someone waiting on a yo boo, and you're like, oh, it's gonna be like this, and then we're gonna meet, and then we're gonna frolic in the fields, and then we're gonna drink coffee together. Promise you, he may not even like coffee.
You don't.
Everyone's gonna approve, and it's just gonna be glorious. Honestly, I think that's what I did believe.
Yeah.
And so when Frederick and I met, we like, you know, we're friends, casually, we're seeing one another. I don't even know what that means. What is casually seeing one another? But we're just casual. We got together, and probably after like 4 months, like dating, I guess. Not even know, like 2. I don't know. I don't even know. We met each other 10 years ago to this season. Like fall season is when we met. Fall season is also when we got back together after a breakup. So it's a sweet season. But we did date for about probably
6 months.
6 months?
I think it was 6 months.
We dated or broke up?
Dated for 6 months, and I think we broke up.
Wow,
I have to fact check it.
I think it was like 5 months.
1 month less. I was close.
6 months because in December,
I think it was 6 months,
it was like
December.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is when we had
That's when we got together.
And then
Smooches.
Christmas we were jangling, and then January we were rolling. So then in May we broke up. And who broke up? Who did the breakup?
You broke up with me. Why did you break up?
I broke up with him because
she was crazy, y'all. She didn't realize this is what she needed.
Yeah, I mean, if you know our story, she
wasn't ready for the jelly.
No, I didn't want jelly. I broke up because the pressure to break up with Frederick from my family was very real.
That was great.
And I just personally thought, if I break up with Frederick, because I can't handle this pressure, I also am a recovering people pleaser. So the thought of my family not being for us literally just sent me into shambles. Like high anxiety, high fear.
Like, what was going on in your mind at that time? Like when you decided, like,
when
the pressure was when the pressure was at its highest, its peak.
Here's the deal. I like legit told myself some of these things that my family was saying. Like, I was trying to like believe that you were a bad guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if I believe it, then this will be easier to break up. But that really wasn't the case. So when I broke up with Frederick, I remember it was a day I was highly emotional about so many things. And I was just like, I'm just going to go do it. I'm going to go break up with him. Did you have any inclination that I was going to break up with you that day?
That day? No, I had no idea. I mean, it's left field, right? At this point, right? we're dealing with it, right? We're dealing with the opposition. You know, you're hearing things, both sides. I'm hearing stuff. She's hearing stuff, negative stuff about why you shouldn't be together, why it's not going to work, why this relationship wasn't from God, or, you know, you're not the person for her, she's not the person for you. You know, you're hearing all that stuff all that time. And then the more you hear stuff, you know, it's almost like you try to start believing some of it. Like, it's like, you know, the enemy wants you to believe some of it. But at that point, when you broke up with me, I didn't thought you was, because we were really like pushing forward at that time. We were like, okay, we're gonna just keep going with this, like regardless. It's us against the world, against the world,
only,
you know.
Dating for a few.
But we was only dating for 6 months. But when you know, you know. We both were really focused on God at that time in our walks, and had our own relationship with God, and really had our quiet times. And, you know, God was speaking to us individually about our purpose collectively at the time, you know. So that was a big thing too. Like, it wasn't just us saying like, oh, we're gonna get married, forget this, forget anything y'all say.
Well, marriage wasn't even like it.
Yeah,
I mean, we were too fresh
we were even dating.
into our
are we gonna keep dating? That's right.
Dating. I mean, we're just like.
But we were dating, but we weren't dating just to date though. We were dating with a purpose. Okay. Well, I made it clear to her, like, I'm dating with intentions.
God,
good
Let
intentions.
me just stop this. Ladies, get you a man. Date a man with intentionality.
Yeah.
Like, we're too grown, we're too sexy to be just messing around. Like, if you're just messing around to mess around, then there is the deeper heart issue, and you don't want a guy who's just like casual part. Okay, there comes a time where there is casualness, and then there comes a season where you're either about this or you're not. Not in a pressure way. But his actions should speak, hey, oh my gosh, this treasure, like, I'm going for it. Like, I'm going in. And
you gotta
what
be the
girl
captain
doesn't want to be pursued?
That's what I'm saying. And as a guy, you should be the one captain in the ship and, you know, trying to steer this thing to paradise. You gotta keep it moving.
Steering me to paradise?
Steering the relationship to paradise. You gotta be man in the ship, you know? Like, where do you want this to go? Like, if you feel this girl's the girl that you want to marry, then all your actions should lead in that way. Like, you should. Absolutely. There should be no doubt that that's what you want.
But you're saying you knew you want to marry me before I broke up with you?
Yeah, I started writing stuff like that. I feel like you could be the one. I mean, I was obviously, there was still another, another couple weeks, a month or two. I needed to just make sure, you feel it. You start feeling it though.
Patrick.
You feel it initially. You're like, wow, this could be. You're in that phase. This could be.
This could be. Honestly,
this could
yeah.
Be it.
Like, there was something in me when we were dating, and people always say, oh, you're gonna know.
Yeah.
And there is something so different. So you're like, I don't want to get my hopes up, but I do want to get my hopes up.
Yeah.
Because before I met Frederick, I did feel an expectancy to shift into this, like, activated faith
wife
with God.
mode, wifey mode.
Like, I started,
Like, you started getting ready. You getting yourself ready. You was Esther.
I was getting my...
You was Esther.
I was Esther. Wow, the sun just completely went away, so it's setting the mood.
It is.
It was a chilly night when I was like, my Boaz
is around the corner. Like,
honestly, though,
you had an experience of that when you said, like, you felt like you got a glimpse. One day you was at church and you got a glimpse that you saw a guy. You wasn't sure who it was, but you felt like in the moment, like, your guy's around the corner.
Yes.
It probably was me, guys.
Okay,
we were going to the same church at the time. It probably was me.
We were going to the same church, but prior to meeting Frederick, I was living in Los Angeles. So before I moved, which was a year ago, I saw this guy, which I swear was Frederick.
It probably was me.
And when I was in LA, I had this thought that, what if that guy was my husband? This sounds very creepy, but okay, there's a verse.
That sparked hope, though.
There is a verse that talks about God planting something in your heart, like a little bit of heaven, so we won't settle.
Yep.
Frederick, very close to heaven. So, but I felt like anytime I had a settling feeling, that, like, my hope would get up and go, no.
Yeah.
I am a believer in God speaking to you in dreams. And I was telling Frederick this the other day, that when I was probably around 26, so I met Frederick at 30, I had this dream of this guy that looked like Frederick. I couldn't see a face, but I leaned on him like this, and I felt joy, peace, and we were laughing a lot. And so I wrote that down in my journal.
Did you feel some muscles?
I felt...
Feel some muscles?
He's back in the gym. Now don't even let me tell you about what he's been doing in the gym. Trying to slam dunk on men that are 25, and he twisted his ankle. Oh, we already talked about that in the vlog.
It don't matter. It had to be done.
But now he's talking about getting back out there in these leagues with these semi-professional basketball players.
Why not? Why not?
Never stop believing or never stop dreaming, guys. You can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens you.
You had that. I
had that vision.
It's like God planted a seed inside your heart. Yeah. It's right around the corner. Like this person you've been praying for, like the relationship you've been praying for, it is there. Like a lot of times people like to make you feel like you're weird because you're praying for a spouse or you're praying for
like
a
we can't
good
have that
boyfriend
desire.
or girlfriend. Like that's a wrong desire to pray for that person. I was like, no, I feel like you should start praying and pray often because I did.
Yes.
And
prayer
I feel like
everything.
I was praying. I got to that point where I feel like the Lord was preparing me, and He's bringing these guys around me that were married, and they were speaking to me about marriage. And I was like, why these guys keep talking up? Yeah. Then this is when I was broken up, even more so. It happened even more.
You were broken up.
When you broke up with me.
When I broke up.
And we were broken up. Like God started bringing even more married guys around me that were talking about marriage and talking about being committed and faithfulness and how to treat your wife and how to, all these man chats that I think were pivotal. And I think
like that was getting you close.
That was getting you closer, even though I still felt like, whoa, we're broke up. Like, why all y'all keep talking about this? Like, obviously we broke up. Like, but I think that was just the Lord trying to, just to tell me to keep the hope up.
Yes.
Even though I was writing things like saying, okay, she is my wife. I feel like God's telling me like we're meant to be, and just at the same time, keep your hands open like this, and I'll take care of the rest. So it was a matter of me just trusting Him and say, okay, God, if you're gonna do this, then you're gonna do that. At the same time, I was still preparing myself though, because I mean, even in the preparation of me still doing the work in myself to try to become the best person I could for her, I was doing that in the midst of being broken up. Like that was like an active faith mode. I was like, okay, well, she's saying this, but I'm still gonna be this, because if God said God's gonna make it out and work it all out, then I still need to be ready. So that's like a super faith move at the time. Like even as you're hoping and as you're trusting God, like in the meantime, you still gotta do what God's telling you to do.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I just heard our daughter
I thought I did too.
Her nap. So breaking up with someone can either go two ways. Peace out, I'm never going to see you again. This was toxic. I don't need to be in this anymore. But the thing about us is I broke up for all the wrong reasons. Yeah. But the thing is, God will use that for His good and for His glory and for His purpose. This is just for the girls or maybe for the guys. It's not the end of the world if you break up with someone that you think is still the one. So for my case, I needed that time with God, period. And let me tell you why. We have to be so confident with what God is telling us in the midst of opposition or whatever the enemy throws at you during a time of preparing or believing for your promise. The trials are going to come. If it is something huge like marriage, and you are changing something generationally, changing something spiritually for your family, like, of course, you are setting up new ground. You are taking new territory. And like, I just literally thought, oh, we just be dating and everybody be fine and it's gonna be good and we're gonna be like I said previously. Now there's a squirrel. Like legit, the squirrel just made me go, ooh, squirrel. But it was a squirrel. So during that summer was the summer that I just dove in with the Lord. I'm like, it is the summer I could hear God's voice so clearly for myself, because everyone was telling me what God was saying for my life, except me hearing if this is what God is saying for my life. And when you get so confident that you're hearing God's voice and God's word through his word, and however you hear him, because he speaks in many ways, but the first place I would say to get is the word of God, and you'll start to know his voice. So the tone of the Bible is God's voice, and you'll know him as a loving, caring father. And everything else I felt was silence. So that summer of being broken up for like 6 months built this faith in me, not just for a relationship, but forever in life, that I'm like, time out, I can hear God's voice for myself. There is wisdom in counsel and godly counsel, but at the end of the day, you have to hear him for yourself. So I feel like that's what I gained during that time, and just also seeing Frederick in a different light, which was
What light was that?
was wow, he's not my boyfriend anymore. And so I saw Frederick like living his own life, doing his own thing, and occasionally we would see each other at church, and like my heart honestly did grow a little fonder. Like there's something about like not having someone.
Are you talking about the break when you were
I was saying
probably like
what
month 5 into the breakup,
Yes.
when that person's not there, you start missing.
the
person's not around like that.
Yes, and we
Yeah.
were still like seeing each other, and you know, I was experiencing a lot of threats, like you better not see him during this time.
Yeah.
And I was telling them that I just got more confidence in hearing God's voice
For yourself.
So I feel like that summer really I gained hearing God's voice for myself, and then seeing you, I feel like you had like a transformation, and like you're like what you were pursuing. I saw somebody who was like, oh gosh, this guy is pursuing the Lord, loving the Lord, like involved in things I want to be involved in.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if I've told this story, but he invited me to this.
Now.
Y'all, this is so innocent and so sweet. He invited me to this like church volunteer banquet night thing. And I was like, I had somebody else from kind of like a previous life that was more like fashion friends and, you know, a little bit more like uppity, invite me to like this swankier party. Volunteer church, swanky party. And I was like, well, sorry, boo. I gotta go to my swanky party. And told him no. And when I went to the party, all I could think about was like, this is not the life. Like, this is not the guys like I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Like there was something so wholesome about Frederick and God is a redeemer, because we do not have wholesome past. And to just find someone like that in our late 20s and just be like, gosh, this guy is like about it. Like, he's not even like talking the talk, he's walking the walk. And so when I drove home from that party, it was like 11:30, and we actually lived down the street from each other. We were both coming. Whoa, the nails help this story. We were both coming home at the exact same time, and we're at the crossroad, and I was like, if this ain't a sign, Jesus. I really believed it. I was like, this is a sign. Like, I'm praying about this at the exact time you have me. And so we ended up,
I didn't even know that happened until she told me.
Yeah, I told you on the phone when we called each other.
You called me. Yeah, when we called each other that night, see how'd your thing go?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, in the moment, I'm saying I didn't.
We didn't
notice.
wave at each other?
No. I think it was just
We
didn't wave at each other. I think you noticed it and told me like, wait, did you just go home? I think you called and said, did you just turn into your apartment? Because I drove a very distinct car at the time.
Comment below if you could figure out what kind of car Frederick drove, which also is so funny because I used to say I will never date a guy who drives this car.
Yeah.
And when I saw him driving this car,
Yeah, comment below. I want to see what kind of car y'all think I was driving. I'm really curious now.
you actually
Knowing who
will
I am,
probably
I
not.
just want to
You'd be
see.
like, what is the problem with this car?
Yeah.
But it was this one car that I was like, absolutely not. And then he pulled up in that car, and then the seats were not my favorite color either.
Y'all comment below.
But it's so, if you know Frederick today, it's like, I love him for that. Like, it's so you. Like, it makes
I'm really
total
curious. They
sense.
probably, oh gosh, I can't even imagine the cars they're gonna put below, but I can't wait for it. Please comment below on that.
Anyways, I feel like we should part 2 this.
Yeah, we're gonna have to part 2 this.
We're part 2ing this, guys, and we're going to continue talking about our breakups.
And we haven't talked about my side of it from my angle, my perspective being broken
We
up.
haven't talked about a lot of stuff.
I know, so much like broken up, like when you're broken up with someone and you feel like God's still telling you that's to someone. Like
Exactly.
how do you navigate that?
We're going to talk about that in part 2, navigating it. And then I think there's going to be a part 3, which we're going to talk about all the breakups we had in life that weren't with each other.
Oh man. Long list. Long list.
For you or me.
All of us.
How many breakups do you think I had?
I don't know. Maybe like 6.
Oh.
6 maybe?
Anyways,
Legit.
guys, I hope you're encouraged
Yes.
in this video if you were going through a breakup or you're just curious how did this transpire. But think about it. We've known each other for 10 years. We've been married for 7 years. So there is hope in
Yeah.
anything that is going on that feels like, wow, like this is not matching what God told me. Anyways, God is a God of the impossible.
Yeah.
And if you're experiencing any opposition or trials towards your relationship, make sure you do surround yourself with wise counsel because that was very helpful during our time.
Yes.
So anyways, hope you're having a wonderful day and we will see you in the next video.
Yes. Bye.